Vjerujem da ste pročitali program, uglavnom zato i jeste ovdje jer znate koji je sadržaj sljedećeg predavanja. Stoga samo kratki uvod. Dakle, Francuska je jedno od najvećih tržišta animiranog filma u svijetu. Godišnje proizvedu pregršt animiranih filmova, no 10 godišnje vrlo uspješnih i to dugometražnih. Vjerujem da znate brojne naslove, a svi ti naslovi cijenjeni su diljem svijeta i zbog svoje kvalitete i zbog originalnosti. Upravo zato su oni ljudi koji se bave animacijom, a Francuzi su vrlo cijenjeni. Jedna od najboljih škola, zapravo posljednje 2 godine proglašena je najboljom školom animacije u svijetu, je Gobelin. Did I say it correctly? Yes, I did. Dakle, globalna je to referenca u poljima digitalne komunikacije, interaktivnog dizajna i zabave. I upravo iz te francuske škole dolazi nam jedna dama koja ima 2 strasti. Umjetnost i edukaciju. Krenula je svoju karijeru kao profesorica povijesti na srednjim školama u Francuskoj, potom je dakako dovršavala i svoje obrazovanje, preselila se i u Škotsku, radila mnoge druge poslove na cijenjenim institucijama, no već nekoliko godina je direktorica odjela za međunarodne odnose upravo u ovoj školi. Neću duljiti, molim vas da je pozdravite velikim pljeskom, ali prije nego što se ona popne na pozornicu, samo ću reći da odmah nakon njene prezentacije slijedi projekcija animiranih filmova, stoga će se ova dvorana nakon predavanja pretvoriti u jednu prekrasnu kino dvoranu, pa vas molim da ostanete da svi zajedno uživamo i u tome. Molim vas dakle veliki pljesak za Cécile Blondel, s'il vous plaît.
Thank you very much. Hello. Nice to see you all, and I see a lot of young faces, meaning students? Yes. Okay, good. I'm very happy to be in Croatia. It's my first time in Croatia, and I'll be back. I would like to thank the festival and, of course, the French Institute for bringing me here. Yeah, but I got the flash. I need to find a place where I don't have the light. Today I'm going to do a presentation first about the French animation market, the French way of doing things, what we call the French touch. Is there a French touch or not a French touch? And then I'm going to talk about what the French animators have so special. When people visit the school, they constantly ask me the same question, what's your secret? Okay. I don't think we have any secret. I'm just going to explain what our values are and what we do at the school. Then there will be, we'll answer your questions and there will be films. Okay? Shall we start? Yep. Let's go. No, this way. Yes. Okay, so France is one of the birthplace of animation. It has a very long tradition, starting at the end of the 19th century, even before, because that's animation, okay? I'm sure you've heard of Émile Cole, Étienne Marey, the Lumière brothers, yes, of course. But at one point, animation went from a hobby, a passion, an interest, to an industry and a profession, okay? So I just want to talk about the moment where we went from this to this. You know the Minions, right? Everybody knows the Minions, okay? The Minions are not American, the Minions are French. Just to specify. Okay, so the moment animation became an industry in France was in the middle of the 1970s. Okay. Before, it was not a profession, it was not an industry, it was something, you know, the creators were doing on the side, okay? But in the mid-70s, 2 teams had a project. Uderzo and Goscinny, you all know Uderzo and Goscinny, I guess, Asterix, and Paul Grimaud and Jacques Prévert for The King and the Bird. They did all the pre-production of the projects, they wrote it, they storyboarded it, they designed it, they did everything. And then there was a production phase, and there were no animators. Okay, problem. So these two teams, what they did, they had a friend called Pierre Aima, who was originally a physicist, was interested in optic, and he was the head of a school in the 13th arrondissement of Paris, in a quarter called Gobelin. And this school had been created in 1963 by the Chamber of Commerce of Paris, and the school was training photographers, professional photographers. So Uderzo and Grimaud went to see Pierre Aima and explained that they had a problem indeed, and that they wanted to train animators, and could he design, big adventure, a new training for a new profession, actually. Pierre Aima liked the challenge. He designed an 8 months animating training. It's now a master in 4 years. Okay. So there's been a long way, okay? No. Yes. So just to talk about the French animation market. We are very proud in France to be the 3rd animation market in the world, of course, behind Japan and the US. We're the first producer in Europe as well, with around 353 hours of animation per year. I'm talking about film, but I'm also talking about TV. The kids are looking at a lot of animations, especially before school. and it's extremely popular in France as an audiovisual genre. It's always been. Feature film. We produce a lot of feature films, a lot. It's only an average of 7. You're going to tell me, oh, that's not a lot, but it is indeed a lot because it takes a lot of time to produce an animation movie. And the average budget for a film is around 11 million euros per film. Okay, is that a small number or a big number? No idea how much the Americans are spending for a film. I'm just looking at the students now. What's the budget of an American film in dollars? Any idea? Millions. How many millions? Around $150 million. Okay? Okay. So if you compare the cost of a French film to an American film, it's a lot cheaper. Okay? So we are known for being super good, super quality, and cheap. Okay? So animation is the first audiovisual genre to be exported on all the audiovisual production of France. It's the first export. We have sold around 30 million tickets. Okay? Half of the entries have been made abroad, which is huge. Just some examples of French films, French animated films who have been a success, okay? Minions, you all know the Minions, okay? The Little Prince, have you seen The Little Prince? Yes? Yes, yes, you've all seen the Minions. Look at me, yes. Asterix as well, okay? Do you know any others? Come on, rake your brains, guys. Petit Prince, yeah? Kirikou, big classics. Kirikou and the Witch? Asterix. Kirikou and the Witch. Any idea? You're not too young, guys. Caillou? Ah. Okay. And Ernest and Celestine? Yes? Yes. Okay. Good. Okay. Animation in France is not only for kids, so you see the segmentation of the market here. What's really interesting in the past 2 years is that the category that has increased the most is the 50 and plus. Okay, so people are not only taking their grandsons and granddaughters to see animation movies, they go. They just go, and that shows the interest in the French culture about this genre. It's also a very dynamic employer, and but it has its flaws. Okay, it's a small sector, 6,200 jobs in the animation industry. What is very important is that it's been increasing, almost doubled in the past 10 years. Okay, and it's expected to grow again. Okay. 80% of employees have the status of intermittent. Ah, that is very French. Okay. This is one of the reasons, and we are in France very supported by the government. I'm going to explain why and how. Okay. Intermittent is a specific status where you can work on a project, okay? And when the project is finished, the states give you an allowance to carry on, okay? To leave, okay? Not to die in poverty when you've finished your project, okay? Until the next project starts. The idea was to preserve the freedom of the artist. Okay, for two main reasons. I'm not going to go into details, but the two main reasons were after the Second World War, because freedom of expression was super important. Okay, so the artist had to have an impact in society, and the freedom of expression of the artist had to be preserved. How to preserve freedom of expression? By being economically independent. Okay, and also to alleviate the pressure from the American culture, okay? And to allow young artists to be able to produce their own creation. It's a very masculine sector, still. 70% of the jobs are held by men, okay? And especially the top professions, okay, where you have to create, where you have to decide, where you have to manage, where you have to lead, okay. There are very few women directors. Okay. What we see as a school, and we've encouraged the parity between young men and young women, in our French classes, we have 50-50. Okay, but we're very lucky enough to be able to have enough candidates, okay, of super quality to be able to create parity. Okay, that's on the French track. We also have an Anglophone track with international students, and this is not the same. We have around 30% of women in the international class. Why? Because women do not apply. Mainly the candidates are masculine. Okay, so we're trying to encourage by what I'm doing exactly today, girls, apply. Okay, and also to encourage the girls to carry on and apply also to jobs that are not only executing jobs, but jobs of management or where they're going to create and decide. The typical thing that happens is that women, at the moment, they get into the profession, they do schools, they're super talented, they get into their work, and then they get pregnant, and then they don't come back because the conditions are too difficult. Okay? So this is something we're working on by, boosting the girls. Okay? I hope the new generation will kick. Okay, it's also a super young profession. Most of the animators are less than 40, and the average age in the profession is 34. Okay, I'm a great grandma there. Okay, they talk to me as their great grandma as well. Okay, so it's very difficult as well for the, I'd say the mature generation, and therefore. There's also a problem of transmission. Diversity is super good. So when you have old and young, the knowledge is transferred from one to the other. But that it's quite difficult at the moment. French animation is internationally super attractive. So I said that more than half of the entries of French films are made abroad. There's been a very big flow of experts in the past years, especially with the films I told you about. And animation is around 40% of the sales of French audiovisual products abroad, which is big when you think about animation is a small production compared to live action, for example. Foreign financing as well. There's a lot now of co-productions. Okay, well, let's be clear. There's not enough money to produce an animation film. It costs a lot. Okay, it takes a lot of people. So now more and more films and TV productions are produced in co-production. So there's a lot of investment coming from abroad. The sector is really interesting for international financiers. How do we manage this? We are super lucky to be really supported. First, I was talking about the status of an animator, okay? The way that when you stop working, you're still earning enough to live. An attachment that is super strong in France to culture and diversity. We have a Ministry of Culture. Not every country has a Ministry of Culture in the world. We also have 145 cultural institutes around the world. That's why I'm here today, okay? That's what these guys do. They promote French culture, they promote culture in general, and they do a super job. I've been working with the French institutes all around the world for the past 20 years, and I can tell you France is very, very lucky to have these people. And also we have a very important organization to finance the French creative industries. It's what we call the CNC, okay, National Center for Cinema and Animated Film. The CNC, it's a very clever system. Each time you go to buy a cinema ticket, okay, there's 10% of this ticket that is given to the CNC. Okay. There's also a percentage of TV release that is given to the CNC. And then the CNC gives back this money to projects, to finance projects of, young people, not so young people, okay? But this helps to preserve creation, to allow innovation as well, and to allow young artists to express themselves. So we're preserving diversity. We're not only, you know, having the big blockbusters coming from the West. Okay. There's been a relocation in France of the production that's also very interesting, thanks to a very active tax credit policy. So before, a part of the production was production, not talking about the design or the pre-production. The production was made, for example, in Malaysia, in Asian countries, and now that there's the tax credit, the production is coming back to France. So French animators, they actually work, they can work in France. This is super important. Actually, they don't. I will explain why. But this is it's also super important that the production is in France. So, French touch or not French touch? Okay, I don't know. I'm French. I don't know. I just hear what the others are telling me, okay? We have around 2 to 3 visits of foreign delegations a week at the school, and they ask always the same question: how do you do it? How do you reach this level of professionalism with your students? How do you boost creativity? Okay. What's so special with your animators? Okay, so I'm trying to summarize what they tell me. Okay, I know my students are special. Yeah, of course, my students are special. But they have a new language. Your generation and your parents' generations, you've always been, you know, brought up with images, animation, VFX, video games, okay? So this is a language that is familiar for you, okay? My generation, I was brought up with Tex Avery, Tom and Jerry, and the first Disneys, okay? But I had to learn. You don't have to learn. You're given a tablet or something, you know, screen, from the age of 1, 2, okay? So you don't have to learn. So images are part of not only your environment, but more, part of your language. You communicate with images. It's easy for you, okay? I communicate with words. That was my generation, okay? My generation, books were more important in the way you express yourself than images. Now, there's a new language. And this language, the beautiful thing with it, with images, is that this language is universal. Animation, you don't need dialogues, okay? And you don't need actors. You can, you know, do whatever you want with your characters. You can invent any story. They can flip backwards if you want them to flip backwards, okay? The pain with real people is that they can't do these things, right? So animation is a universal language that is understood by everybody, especially your generations. So that's a more global thing. We are helped by the CNC, okay? So the help of the CNC help people to naturally want to work in animation. For them, it's hard, but it's not complicated, okay? Apart from the fact that the parents are coming to see me and say, animator, this is not a job. But there's less and less parents telling me this, and more parents accepting that their kids are doing what is not a job, okay? Because the parents, they're also familiar with animation. Okay. There's the tradition with a lot of know-how, a lot of schools as well, 74 schools in animation in France. That's huge, okay? Not all of them are good, and I will explain how you can find a school you can trust. Okay. President Hollande said that animation was a national pride, okay, in France. So there's the support of the state as well, like a monument, you know. We protect Eiffel Tower, we protect animation. There's a tradition of diversity as well, of different styles, okay? We've talked about the films, in the main films in France. So you have the Minions, okay, which is more sort of commercial animation, but you have Ernest and Célestine, 2D watercolor, okay? And you have even more independent animations authors. And that's one thing which is super important, is that in France, you consider the director as an author, okay? I'm going to do just a little experiment. If I tell you 101 Dalmatians, you're going to say the author, the people who did it. Disney, okay. If I tell you Frozen, Disney. If I tell you Shrek, DreamWorks, okay. If I tell you Rebel, Scottish redhead girl, Pixar, okay. Anybody knows the director? No. Unless you're very passionate and you dig, okay? For the people who know Kirikou, Michel Oslo, okay? The Minions, it's different because it's MacGuff, okay? But in France, we have a tendency to know the director, the name of the director, and in the US, you know the name of the studio, okay? So it's a very different way of seeing things, okay? In France, for example, Kirikou, which was a big success, we had no idea who the studio was. Knew it was Michel Oslo, okay? French studios are super diverse. There's 125 studios in France. 6 of them are big studios. I'm talking about MacGuff, for example, okay? Big studios producing not only long features, but also TV and advertisement, okay? So you imagine there's these 6 big studios and then 119 other studios producing a lot of very different things. Okay. There's a passion of graphics, and that is what foreign studios always told me. You have a passion for graphics. Your animators are super drawers. The animators who only learn 3D without learning drawing, now in their career they start learning how to draw. Okay, so there's a real attachment to graphics. French artistic direction is seen to be the best of the world. Okay, pre-production as well and design. There's a true originality in that. And I'm told there's always an educational element in what the French are producing in animation. It can be poetic, it can be philosophical. Maybe it's the tradition of La Fontaine and Molière, but there's always a message in the stories they make. There's low price, high quality, and tax credits. Of course, so the studio says that, and they get super excited with the tax credit. And animation is not only for kids, but adults are also watching it. So is that a French touch? Maybe. I'd say there's a European touch more than a specific French touch. Okay. As I'm traveling all the time, I've been discussing with a lot of Chinese artists at the moment, and they say they want the European style to sort of be less American. So French creativity is very linked to diversity, and this is super important for what I'm going to say next about Gobelin. We have these very unique structures with the CNC, and the schools are also very unique structures because they're very small, they're very human. There's not many diplomas issued every year in animation, between 25 and 100 diplomas issued every year. I'm talking about people who are finishing their studies and graduating in animation, okay? Not the number of students, okay? And the pedagogy is always centered on the student, okay? Very small number of classes, like 25 to 30 students per class is already a maximum. Okay. So very small schools, very human-scaled, and very student-oriented. There's also a network which is called RECA. Okay. RECA is Réseau des Écoles Françaises de Cinéma d'Animation, the French network of animation school. Okay. 27 animation schools in France. We actually have 74, but some of them were very expensive and not very quality-oriented. Okay, so the animation sector and the schools decided to set up the RECA, which is a network you have to apply to be recognized by it, and there's a quality assessment. Okay. So if you're looking for a French school for animation, you go on the RECA site, and you can trust these schools. Okay, they are supported also by the CNC, which is super important. The RECA is very official. Okay. Don't go anywhere else. The future. Okay, so animators now, they have a new profile. They're what I call animators without borders. They travel a lot, okay? Why do they travel? Because a project can be pre-produced in France, okay? Produced in Ireland, Canada, and post-produced in South Africa. Okay. And an animator will go where the project is made. So the students we're seeing now, first they speak English, they have to, okay? Sometimes they speak other languages, sometimes they don't even know they speak other languages. The other day I was working with a team of international students. One of them started speaking Russian to his classmate, and I said, "You speak Russian?" And he said, "Oh, I didn't know I was." Okay, so there's a sort of melting pot of people speaking different languages, doing different things, but it's not a problem anymore. Okay, they're citizens of the world. Storytelling is the biggest issue in animation at the moment, not the technique or the artistic creativity. It's really the storytelling. There's a big studio that was super known some years ago. It just had been bought by another bigger shark, which is Universal. I'm talking about DreamWorks, and DreamWorks it was very successful. It opened in China, it opened in India. Problem is that they did a lot of very good films, such as Shrek, for example, okay? And then they started telling the same story, all again and again and again. Yes, okay. So I had a lot of discussion. I'm talking a lot about storytelling at the moment with everybody because it's the big thing, okay? So they thought, yeah, but we have to renew, and Sony as well, we have to renew our storytelling. So Sony, what they did was they sent people to East Europe, okay? Because East Europe has a big folklore. They see things from their perspective, Okay, it's big folklore. We show in Eastern Europe, we will find stories. Okay, they came back with stories. Do you know which film was made after they came back with the Eastern Europe stories? Any idea? Big production. Hotel Transylvania. Ah, yeah. They see things with their own perspective, I agree. Okay, and then they're trying to reapply the same model. So we have Hotel Transylvania. We were very happy with the vampire and the sort of Eastern European background and things. And then they started to do Hotel Transylvania 2, and then Hotel Transylvania 3, okay? So I went to see Hotel Transylvania just to see what they did with Eastern Europe culture, okay? Then I thought, okay, it's my job. I should go to see Hotel Transylvania 2. Okay. And I couldn't go to see Hotel Transylvania 3. Now it's not even in Transylvania, it's on a boat. Okay, so the problem is that the big studios, they're chickening in front of innovation, new stories. They have a strategy of branding and rebranding and rebranding things because they're so afraid when you have a $150 million film, you're afraid of losing money. So they'd rather be, how would I say that? They'd rather try and apply the same strategy all over again because it worked, okay? But the problem is that it may not carry on working, okay? And the public is not stupid. So storytelling is super important. Animation now is everywhere, even in live action. There's a lot of work in animation. In France, we do not have enough people. The studios are asking me for more. Okay, even the Canadian studios are asking for more. Okay, last year, Canadian studios, they came to the school and they said, "We need 1,800 animators. Can you do that for us?" Well, I can do 25. Okay, which is a lot, okay, because even live-action movies are doing animation, okay. Have you seen Gravity? Yes, the film Gravity, yeah? It's animation, okay. If you have the occasion of seeing a film or if you happen to be able to see a conference by Alfonso Cuarón, of course he didn't let George Clooney in the space, right? Okay, so it was animation, and they put George Clooney in some sort of a weird box, okay, and there's his face, he's playing, okay, and the box is moving, but around it's animation. And you can see it more and more and more, even in advertisement, everywhere. Co-production, I was telling you, is the future. Not only because of a question of money, but because of a question of inspiration, a question of sharing. You know, creativity is sharing. Being disturbed, being kicked out of your comfort zone, watching things you like, you don't like, that are inspiring you, okay? And diversity is also the future. So Gobelin. Gobelin, our particularity is that we are present in all things that play with images, okay? Except for live action. We don't do live human beings, okay? We do images. Okay, we have different sectors. There's photography, print and plurimedia, animation, of course, interactive design, graphic design, video games, and now we have a prepa for young people coming out of secondary school. Okay. We do full-time, we do apprenticeship, which is a contract where you work in a company part of the time and in a school as well. So, and you're paid, so it helps financing studies. We have short courses, summer schools, and continuing education, which means that we have students from 15 to 65. We're a vocational school, and our mission is to support the local industry by providing the best workforce with the best training and immediately operational. So the placement of our students is one of our main objectives. Okay? In animation, we have 100% of students finding a job within 6 months. Okay? Generally, they find a job the day after their jury, because the big studios are around us. We are constantly in touch with the industry. Most of our teachers, I'd say 99% of our teachers are coming from the industry. We only have one permanent teacher in the animation department. So, 1,026 students this year. 33 teachers in the whole school, permanent teacher, and 500 speakers coming from the industry to teach. We have a nice reputation. We've been ranked first animation school in 2016 and 17. 18, we're second. Okay. We celebrated the 40 years of the animation department 2 years ago, and then you can see some famous people, Pierre Coffin being the creator of the Minions, Louis Clichy, for example, for Astérix. There's Riyad Satouf as well, who's also a comic writer. There's Simon Rouby, who did Adama. So they have quite nice future, our graduates. Not all of them are at that stage, okay, but they're doing good. Okay. Our YouTube channel has now 22 million views. That's thanks to the animation films. Our students are doing a brilliant job. Teaching methods. We only work on projects and team projects. There's no lectures. It's always a project, okay? Whether it's an exercise, a sequence, or a film. And the students have to work in teams. Our challenges to follow the changes of the industry, technical changes, the way we do things, the language we are working in. So we're updating our curricula once a year, generally several times a year. So we're constantly trying to catch up. Okay. We need to anticipate what the next changes will be, because what we want to offer to our students is a sustainable career. Okay? They need to be adaptable. They need to know the market. They need to know how we work in the industry to be able to find a job and keep the job, or work on the projects they like to work on. We want them to be happy. We want to increase the number of students, but we don't know how to do many students. Okay? We have 25, 30 graduates people in the French track and 30 in the international track. That means that we graduate 60 people every year. Okay? We don't know how to do more. And now we want to be more and more international, because this is the way things are going to develop. Okay. Little drawing will be better. Okay, I know it's a bit whoa, okay? But just to explain, The lower part is the secondary school, okay? So in animation, the main program is in green. You get into first year, second year, that's in French. We have 28 to 30 students getting in. Then, at master's level, we split. We have a French track and an English track. Why English? Because we had to choose a language to attract international students from all over the world, okay? Last year, we graduated Tena Galovic as students from Croatia for a master. And this year, we have Carlo, who's also a Croatian student, and he's preparing his end of studies film. So we are very happy to have these guys. Tena is quite a lady. Okay, so it's 4 years, and then we help you find a job, okay? We have a lot of partners for exchanges, but also for teaching programs. We are Erasmus chartered, and we send our students to our partner studios to do internships every year. This is where we do things. There's a lot of now emerging places such as South Africa, which is big studios there emerging. Our international students are in the master, okay, the international track. In the master we have, in the whole school we have 28 animation students international. In the master we have 50% of them, okay. 29 different nationalities, average age is 24. 37% are women only, we're trying to boost. It's getting better every year. And 43% of the students have a scholarship. This is super important for us. To be able to attract the best talents, we need to offer scholarships. We are helped by the French embassy, of course, but we're also helped by companies such as Cécile, or even individual. Last year, Guillermo del Toro gave 3 scholarships to Mexican students. So we're really trying to offer this. Here they are. First batch of international students. They graduated in June. That was when they arrived. And they were still happy when they left. Tired, but happy. We have a summer school as well, which is a 2-week intensive course in character animation in Paris. Last year we had 140 participants coming from 25 countries. So it's a bit of a big party for 2 weeks. It's super nice. But they're very tired at the end, but they're also very happy. And now we are opening on the 17th of October MOOC, okay? So MOOC helped me, massive online open course. Okay, this course is free. It will be for 6 weeks, and it's the idea is to give a class on the basic of animation and physics of movement. Okay, we are trying to carry on with the SPOC, which is a more specific course. So the people from the MOOC who have passed the MOOC do another specific course, and then we're trying to get the people who have succeeded the second course to come to Gobelin, okay? Which we expect 50 people. The idea is now that we're trying to do a lot of fundraising so that everything is free for the students, okay? But the MOOC will be free. It's in French, there will be subtitles. Okay, so you can try it from the 17th of October. You're welcome. It's open to everybody. Okay? Any questions? About the school, about animation in France? No? Yes? Maybe...
Hi, thank you. I'm wondering if you have a plan to make a school for younger children.
Younger children,
Yes.
you mean? Yeah, we have developed a series of workshops for high school kids. So we're trying. It's not easy in France because you have a very strong norm from the Ministry of Education.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, you said the average age of your students is 24 years.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like at the beginning of the education or at the end? In total?
In master, first year of master.
First year of
Okay.
master.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We have no age limit, so we have older people.
Okay.
We have an ancient. No, we have an ancient of 33 years old. He's revered by the others. You know. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Cécile. I just have a very random question. I would like to know if you maybe know what is the reason why Ernest the Vampire is no longer being produced?
Okay. Difficulty in production in terms of resources and diplomacy.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. I couldn't say more. Sorry. You're very welcome. Thank you.